Hey guys, welcome to the studio, welcome to the vlog. Today a very special episode of Track Submits. As you know, Track Submits is the segment within my daily vlog where you guys send me demos, I listen to them and give you feedback. Today we're changing that a little bit. It's not just me giving you feedback, I will also drag your song into Logic and try to improve it. I know it's a little bit limited because I just have the MP3 file to work with, but I hope this will still help you to get like an overall balance right, and also maybe changing some elements or adding some elements to the songs and try to get them to the next level and help you to point you towards where to kind of improve your song next. The very first song is by Max. It's called Demo for John Sine. Thanks a lot, Max, for your demo. Let's listen to it really quick. I think the most interesting part is right at the end of the break, right before the drop. So yeah, there is actually quite a lot going wrong. I think the most noticeable, first of all, is the volume difference between the break and the drop. It's like hitting way too hard. The change is just, it's just too much. So let's try and soften this up. Dragging it into Logic. Now let's pick the point where it drops right here. So let's first try and find out the BPM of this song. Of course, 128, the absolute standard for electronic music. Just really quick align it to the grid. I mean, the break, the end of the break is fine. I mean, this is probably made by someone that isn't producing for that long, so it's like a beginner's song. You can hear that in the mixing, song structure and everything, but the principle is right. In the break, it's like resting, it's quiet, then it's like building up towards the drop, but then it's really just like too loud. So let's change that really quick, just like with a volume automation. I changed it now by 4 dB, but I still have the feeling it's not enough. Let's maybe try out with 5. Sounds already a lot better, again, if you compare it previously. Way more balanced this way. If someone listens to it, it won't jump right into their face. If it's like too much, it throws you off entirely from listening to the song. The next thing in the drop that I can hear immediately is like way too much low end, so fixing that is pretty simple. Just cut it away. Yeah, I think those really low frequencies below 30 Hz are just not needed in this song. Let me open the analyzer really quick to show you where I hear where frequencies are missing. So it's basically in the mid top end and like the upper low end, bottom of the mid frequencies. You can see there are 2 spots where it's just empty. You could also argue that the mid frequencies are just too loud, so maybe let's lower them a tiny bit, because in the song there's a lot happening in the mid frequencies. You got the synthesizer and the chopped vocals, and that's already a little bit too much having both of them that loud. So we'll lower the mid frequencies by maybe 2-3 dB and see if it improves it. Yeah, that's definitely the right change, getting a little bit out of there. If I had the individual tracks, I would go in there and pick one of the elements and make it quieter. But since we're just working here with this one file, I have to lower the entire mid region with like a very open EQ that cuts away 2 dB. Usually I would boost the high frequencies a little bit, in mastering at least. But here in this case, there are already hi-hats playing really high that have like resonating frequencies. Again, if I could EQ them separately, I would, or maybe just change the sample. I think the next thing I would actually like to do to improve the song further is changing the kick, just replacing it, because I still can't really fix the low end. The kick sample isn't really working, so let's maybe just try out another kick. Yeah, with the new kick, it sounds already a lot better. Again, the song without the kick that I layered underneath. Helps out already a lot. If I again had control over the individual tracks, I would definitely 100% sidechain the bass, the sub bass part against the kick really hard to make even more room for the kick and not have to make it that loud actually. But having that kick punch definitely helps the track to be a bit more clubby. This kind of music is heavily depending on the kick samples you use. Again, if you want some cool kick samples, the ones that I usually use, down below in the description is a link to the sample packs. They're a free download. You can just go in there, use the kicks, and hopefully this will help you to just get to the next level. I think that's pretty much all we can do for this track at the moment. We could maybe add a limiter just to get it up to loudness. I will just use the standard Logic one. Now the track is loud enough for Spotify, for example, but there's still too much rumble in the low end. Since we added a kick, I can actually cut a little bit more into the original track and get rid of the low end and still have the full kick. I didn't cut more because I was then cutting into the kick of the song, but since we got two now layered, I can actually go in there and maybe even cut it up to 50 Hertz. Let's again compare just the EQ changes that I did to the original song. It's not much, like cutting the low end and a little bit of the mid frequencies, but if you play it and hit compare, it sounds so muddy without the low cut. So there's really too much low end in there without having a kick that actually is able to cut through the mix. Sounds definitely a lot cleaner. I think this is like one of the #1 mistakes, having like way too much in the way too low end. Just get rid of it. It's not needed. Most speakers can't really play it, and if they can, it's just taking away the energy of all of the other elements that are way more important. But yeah, I hope this helped. Very simple, a little bit of EQing, kick replaced or layered underneath, and a little bit of limiting just to get it up to loudness. Let's again compare really quick the first initial version versus the slightly changed one. The next one is by M2K1 and called Move. It's more going into a techno direction. This one is basically making exactly the opposite. Here the kick is a little bit too strong and the sub bass a little bit too weak. But let's get the song out of there and into Logic. So yeah, since the kick is a little bit too emphasized, it's just too loud in the mix, let's lower it a tiny bit and see if that already helps. Okay, this one right here is an EQ setting you should never ever actually use if you have the control over the individual tracks, because right here the bass is too low and the kick too loud. Usually just go into your tracks and make the kick a little bit quieter and the bass a little bit louder. I can't do it because I don't have the individual files, so I have to use an EQ setting like this, like lowering it at 50 Hertz and increasing it at 80 Hertz. But I think it already helps a little bit. Let's compare again. The next part that I actually don't like is the harsh top end, especially for like techno music. You want to have it a little bit more dull and deeper. So let's maybe just lower those very high hi-hat frequencies. The stereo image of the song is actually quite good. There are elements in there that are stereo and some that are mono, so it sounds really wide. I actually like that. There are some frequencies missing in the mid part, and I mean I could now pull them out, but it's actually not the frequencies missing, it's more like an element that has these kind of frequencies missing. So actually I would add another melody. This would make the song catchier, more rememberable. It can be something cool, like just like 2 or 3 notes every 4 or 8 bars to just make it interesting with a lot of delay, something crazy, just to stick out among all of these techno tracks. And this way you fill also out the midsection of the frequencies, get a rounder, nicer, way more balanced mix, and also make it musically way more interesting. I would maybe try to pitch down the original kick, maybe by 1 semitone or maybe 2, just because it's like kind of cooler for techno music, and it gives you a little bit more space to the bass, so you can actually have both a tiny bit louder and more present in the mix and still not make them collide, then sidechaining and you're ready to go. So I think that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this new kind of version of track submits. It's definitely a lot more fun for me than just always saying the same thing. Now I will probably do the same thing to all of the songs, but I hope those two gave you a good idea what might be a problem. And in your song, both of them, the biggest problems definitely the low end, and for the first song also the musical parts need to be more interesting, and the techno one definitely needs that main element. So thanks a lot for watching. Link down below in the description again if you want to submit your song. We'll see us tomorrow back again to a normal vlog here in the studio.